what this conversation is really speaking to is that there is response from action. There is, for sure. You know it. You move around in an action-oriented world, and you can get results from action. We don't deny it. We don't even want you to stop acting. We think action is a wonderful manifesting part of your physical time-space reality. But when you find vibrational frequency that matches this powerful energy, and the inspiration to act comes from that vibration, now the action has more leverage. Now you get more results from it. More results. So this is a fun thing. It's new on Esther's list. It's something that she's enjoying. She's sort of set aside everything else that she's thought about that. She's been laying new pipes. She's really wanting to see what universal forces will inspire her to. And so far, it's been In-N-Out Burger. Other things too, but we're making all of these answers simpler and simpler these days, because when you have a desire and you find a way to be in vibrational harmony with your desire, which means even though your body has not toned or trimmed to the degree that you want it in terms of what's actually manifested, if the vibrational frequency of you is not one that feels lack, then from that high-flying disc, inspired to the path of least resistance that will help you to get what you want. And each of you are different about where that path of least resistance is. There's not one path. That's why you notice that there's so much variety. Someone said to Esther, who hasn't seen her for a while, "It seems to me that you have trimmed a little." And Esther said, "I've lost 500 pounds this year." The same 10 pounds over and over and over and over and over. And so what we are wanting all of you to understand is that from this high-flying disc, if you are making decisions, and most of you have a lot of clogged pipes relative to things that you've been wanting for a while that you haven't managed to bring yourself into alignment with. So it really is a matter of finding a new identity, finding a new way of looking at yourself, seeing yourself as you want to be rather than as you currently are. And when that flips, seeing yourself as you want to be becomes the dominant airtime that you're giving, but it takes bringing yourself into alignment about that. Just be easy about it. What you'll begin to notice is that from that high-flying disc, the inspiration comes. And when the inspiration comes from that higher frequency, it is easier to maintain. There are a lot of behaviors that you can offer that will get you some action-oriented results. But when you offer behavior without the alignment behind it, then the behavior becomes tiring. It becomes burdensome, and you don't carry on with it very long. But if the inspiration, if from that place of alignment, of really knowing what you want and feeling what you want, if the inspiration comes from that point, then it is not something that you have to sustain or that you have to work at sustaining. It's something that you easily sustain.
Okay.
And then you begin to notice that the cooperative components are not just out there around you, they are within you. All kinds of cooperative components within your own physical beingness, you see. And so science is good at identifying manifestations. Science is really good at identifying the results of vibrational disc choosing. But science has not yet come across the understanding that from attention to vibration, there is no more significant causation in all of the universe. And to do it deliberately, that's going to upend science when they stumble across that. So as I stand in my now, the momentum of what I lived before is part of what I'm living now. The question is, this might help you. It's going to twist your brain into a little bit of a knot, and then we'll help unravel it. The other day we were talking to a group about how every day you get on the high-flying disc as best you can. And your best chance of doing that is first thing in the morning. And each morning that you care about it, and each morning that you do it, and each morning that you know that you have 17 seconds to pull away from or direct yourself away from a thought that might be taking you from it, the better you get and the more solid you are on that disc. So I'm going to get on the high-flying disc. And so then we complimented the group. We said, we've been here together for hours, and it's like we've pushed the reset button. We've literally pushed the reset button. Your point of attraction today is different than it's ever been before. Your point of attraction has been re-established today. And everyone liked it, the idea of it, because it felt like the momentum of everything that had come before and the clarity that had happened during the seminar. And we've pushed the reset button, and now we can expect different things to come to us. And then we said, however, it only lasts for today. Because in the morning, you're going to push the reset button again. You keep pushing the reset button. And really, it's not just every morning. Esther said, Abraham, I refuse to believe that I have to wait till tomorrow to get back on my disc. You've given me enough tools. I know how to focus. I can meditate. There's a lot of things that I can do to get back there because I want to. But speaking to this subject of momentum, it really raises the question, why is my point of attraction what it is? Is it because of what I used to believe? No, it's only because of what's active in your vibration now. However, usually what's active in your vibration now is the same as what you used to believe, because most people sort of lock in on a belief and then they keep that pipe wide open, and so things don't change. But they could. You could literally lay new pipes every day about things that you want and have different experiences and different levels of energy flowing through you. So every moment is a relationship with something, and the relationship that we want you to establish as the primary one is that relationship with Source, that relationship with that pure positive energy. And if you care about that relationship first, then all other relationships take care of themselves. But it's like Esther observing these two children that she loves so much at the fair that day. She could see that each of them had their point of attraction going. And she knew, because of her experience with them, that this was their point of attraction today. It was today. But what happens is, if you have enough days like that you start to see yourself that way and believe yourself that way, then every day you just recreate yourself again as you have been. That's why this gathering has been really wonderful. We've enjoyed so many of the aspects that have culminated, giving yourself a new name or identifying yourself anew vibrationally, pushing the reset button every day. But it takes some things that you know. First, you have to know that you are vibrational. And next, you have to know that law of attraction is responding to your vibration and to everyone else's. And then it's really helpful to know that you have patterns of thought that have resulted in you hanging around on these spinning discs. We can't find a better way of helping you to realize that your point of attraction is what it is. Jerry, when he first met us, said, Abraham, I figured out the perfect incarceration system. I think there should be islands, and the murderers should all go to an island and do it to each other, and the rapers should go to an island and do it to each other, and the thieves should go to an island and just steal things back and forth from each other. And we said, you already have those islands. They are vibrational islands. And the crowd didn't like the sound of that at first, because they want to know, why does the one who's murdered end up on the island with the one who is murderer? And we say the vibrational frequencies have to match. And people are offering frequencies that they don't even know they're offering. This is a universe based on attraction. There's no exclusion. So when you say no to something, you're actually saying yes to it. So the more you teach your children, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that, the more you're causing them to lay pipes to that. The more you're helping them carve out the path of least resistance to the thing that they do not want. It's such an important thing to know. So when you know that you are a vibrational being, you and everybody else, and you know that law of attraction is sorting it out indiscriminately, in other words, not discriminating, not giving you, as Esther would say, come on, Abraham, can't you give me a special pass here somehow? We say you don't want it. You want the consistency of law of attraction, because you want to be able to make the conscious correlation between how you're feeling, what's my mood, what's my disc, and what's coming. So if you're meeting a lot of ornery people, you got to admit, you went to the ornery meeting. You went to the ornery disc rendezvous point. If you're flying high and people that are coming are full of fun and clarity and insight, then that's the disc that you're meeting them on. But you are the creator of the disc. And law of attraction will bring everything that matches the disc that you have created yourself to be on to you. How about that? Because you're exploring contrast and creating fresh desire, now you get the fresh journey to the fresh new result. That's why we are eternal. That's why we're always fresh, always moving toward. We said in the beginning of this day that as you're moving toward what you've become, it always feels good. When you're widening the gap, it always feels uncomfortable. And then we like to say, you never get it done, so don't try to close the gap. Just expand and move in the direction of your expansion. It's a simple concept, a little more difficult to learn to apply, because momentum has you recreating what you don't mean to if you're not paying attention. But if we have convinced you that you're vibrational beings, have we? And that law of attraction is responding to your vibration, and that the way you feel is the indicator prior to the manifestation, then if you catch yourself early in a thought that doesn't feel good and you're able to replace it with a thought that does, now you have really manageable control of what's happening in your life experience. We've been offering a very simplistic analogy, but it's a good place to start relative to momentum. See your car at the top of the hill in San Francisco and nudge it a little and it starts down the hill. And if you catch it before it really gets rolling, you can step in front of it and stop it. It just bumps up against you and everything's all right. But if you're at the foot of the hill and it's coming down at you and that's how you choose to stop the momentum, it's more painful and usually... And so if we were standing in your physical shoes, and Jerry said that to Esther the other day. She was riding with him, and he said, well, if I were standing in my physical shoes, it made her laugh right out loud. If we were standing in your physical shoes, we would take this small handful of concepts and information from this gathering, and we would just focus on it for a little while. And we promise you, it will yield you more results than any combining of any philosophical points that you've ever applied. Really brief. We would acknowledge that we are vibrational and that we can choose the disc. And then we would go to sleep tonight intending to reach for the best feeling thought that we could find in the morning, with the intention of getting on that high flying disc, with the intention of rendezvousing with things that feel like that. And then we would be aware of the way we feel. And in the moment that we realize that we are flying less high, even if it's just a little, we would realize that we have 17 seconds to draw back from that thought, to refocus that thought. Because once you cross the 17-second mark, it's going to start rolling. So we'd step out in front of that car and stop it in that early stage. And then, as we're moving through the day, we would watch for evidence of our alignment. Just do that for a few days, and we promise you, Esther has become so obnoxious. And we mean that in the nicest way. She has a pen that she likes to write with that Kate gave her that looks like a magic wand, and she's just sort of waving it around to the universe. I choose that and that and that. And she's reached this place that she knows that it's coming. It's just a matter of perfect timing. And she's also wise enough to know she doesn't want it all at once. What an uncomfortable, overwhelming day that would be if it all came today. She likes it to be incrementally spaced out, so that the timing of the delivery of the insight, the thought, the manifestation, the emotion, the co-creation, the rendezvous, so that the delivery of it can be devoured and enjoyed in the way that you've intended for it to be. This is all for your pleasure. You're the creator of your own reality. And people, when they hear that, Seth coined that phrase, when people hear you create your own reality, they quite often argue, no, I don't. I wouldn't have created that. I wouldn't have done that to me. And we say, we didn't say you did it on purpose, but you did do it. Everything, your response to everything around you is your creation. So then it begins to occur to you that you can't control what others do. It's not your job to do it. You really want to keep your nose out of their business. But it is your job the way you're responding to what others are doing. So Esther's begun saying, well, I can be by myself really well. I can fly high when I'm by myself because I can direct my thoughts and I can get energy going and I can feel my empowerment. And I've got that covered. And strangers, I got that covered too. Strangers are just so good to me. The universe is just picking the nicest of them and bringing them to me. It's those people I know that I have old pipes about. Not people I know who have characteristics that bother me. People I know who I have old pipes about. So if you've got people that are really annoying you and you keep rendezvousing with them on that disc, you might want to stop thinking about them so you stop rendezvousing with them. In other words, what keeps things active is your attention to it, you see.